Are you an aspiring data scientist? Do you want to be a part of this small number of people who are an expert in the field of data science? I know that having this kind of expertise in data science would really drive you to higher heights of your career. We can never deny the fact that data science is now very famous, and it's the field where almost all other fields in the whole entire universe are connected to. And we can say that data science can be at the heart of them, be it in medicine, be it in aeronautics, be it in business, be it in economics, be it in education, be it in software engineering, or whatever fields there you could find out there. So if you are an aspiring data scientist, you need to hone yourself to be someone who's above the rest. And when I say someone who's above the rest, it has something to do with your capability. It has something to do with your skills, that you can provide solutions to the problems of your organization. Of course, we've been talking about this one, that data science is not just all about coding, but it has something to do with solving or offering certain solutions to a certain problem. So in this video lesson, we're going to talk about 5 things that you need to focus on if you are an aspiring data scientist, and for you to be able to be someone who is above the rest or has an edge. Because when you have all of these things, you would be capable of understanding a lot of things in your field, at least at the very start of your data science career. So before we continue, please don't forget to click the subscribe button down there, because we do have a lot of lessons for you. We have mastering machine learning algorithm, the deep learning mathematics, we have the natural language processing, and also we give focus on the different algorithms in deep learning and machine learning, and also our advice in data science and making data science projects can really help you move your career to a new height. If you are an aspiring data scientist, you have to have focus on the 5 things so that you can prepare your heart, you can prepare your mind, and you can prepare your core in data science. So let's have number 1. The very first thing that you have to focus on is your mentality. This may sound cliche, and this is actually very basic, because this kind of advice is very applicable to all fields. So the mentality that we have in here really focuses on your interest in data science. The first thing that you're going to ask yourself is that, are you really for data science? Because if your passion does not really lie in data science, you may consider focusing on other fields, because it's actually very difficult to learn something when your heart is not in it. It's very difficult to drive your mentality and your heart. So when your heart is not there, when your obsession is not there, when your passion is not there, you better find another field. So when you see and you feel in your heart that you have this passion for data science, then I suggest that you're going to develop this kind of commitment, because learning data science actually demands your commitment. And when you don't have this kind of commitment to learn data science, everything will just be nothing. And mind you guys, you will just be wasting yourself. Especially too when your skills are not really very near to those skills demanded of a data scientist. So when you don't have that kind of commitment, it's very difficult to start your journey. It's because you really have to have that kind of strict discipline, strict schedule for you to learn. Our main objective here is to learn data science in the shortest way possible. And I'm not talking here of learning all of those things, all of those algorithms, all of those mathematical concepts, because that is actually very difficult to do. And all you need to have as a beginner in data science is to learn just the basic. And I've been telling you about this one. You are going to learn the simplest algorithm first before you go to the more advanced ones. So these are just the things that you are going to learn, at least to start your career in data science. So your mentality matters. A half love for data science is not really very encouraging on your part, because along the way you would lose your enthusiasm, you would lose your passion, and once you lose your passion, you're going to stray away. And when you stray away from your main goal, then it's very difficult to go back on track. So have that 100% commitment. You need to have that 101% discipline. You need to have that 105% focus on learning these things demanded of you as a data scientist. So in my past videos, I talked about the different skills, the different concepts and theories that you need to learn as a data science beginner, or if you are a data science aspirant. I do have a lot of lessons in this channel that will teach you how to learn data science from the very basic to the more advanced ones. And now let's go to our number 2. So our number 2 is about having a structured thinking. So try to examine yourself, how you perceive things, how you think things, how you offer solutions to at least your personal problems. Are you applying structured thinking? So do you still remember the definition of a scientific method? So when we were in our high school, even in elementary, we were taught the basic definition of a scientific method, and it has something to do with a systematic process of dealing with a certain experiment to arrive at a very intelligent and academic conclusion. So here in data science, we do the same thing. It's actually very difficult to do something if you don't have that kind of structure. The same goes with your journey in data science. So structured thinking at this level means that what is the first thing that you are going to do? What's the second thing? The third thing? And so on and so forth. But then again, your beginning is different from my beginning, and our beginning would be different from others' beginning. Why? It's because we do have different backgrounds. We do have different set of skills. So we can never compare ourselves with other people as far as how we are going to start our learning in data science. So you first have to make a checklist of all these things that you have. So do you have mathematical backgrounds already? Do you know these theories, mathematical theories in data science? Because if you don't have, then I suggest you have to go back to these mathematical concepts and theories, because these things really give life to data science. And mind you guys, if you don't do this, if you jump into programming, it would be very difficult to really understand what these numbers really mean. So basically, data science is numbers. And if you don't understand the gradient descent, if you don't understand loss function, if you don't understand the R is S or residual squared sums, then it would be very difficult for you to deal at least with linear regression. So this is just actually a basic concept in data science. And if you don't understand how they affect your model, then it's going to be a disaster, not only on yourself, but also on the project you're dealing with. And in the end, the result on the company itself would be very negative. The impact is really very negative. So you have to structure your thinking. What is these things that you're going to learn? And you're going to make a plan what you're going to learn first, especially when you're kind of busy, when your time is really very demanding. Then managing your time is very important, so that for a certain duration of time, you can learn as much as this, depending on what kind of plan, action plan you've made for yourself. So I suggest for you to be able to have this kind of structure, you really have to have that kind of personal action plan, because these will really help you to make an assessment and evaluation of your growth in data science journey. Now, let's go to our third one. Our third is actually the same thing that I've been repeating even from the very first video of this series. So I always tell you that you have to learn first the basic. This is actually the problem of a lot of aspiring data scientists, because they would just easily go to higher level of thinking, to higher level algorithms, to advanced concepts of data science without first understanding the basic ones. So before you go to decision trees, before you go to classification, before you go to all of these things, again, you have to go back to the basic first. And when I say go back to the basic, at least you have the basic understanding, and you have to really master this kind of basic understanding of the basic things that you have to have, because these really affect everything in your data science projects. For example, the pre-processing. So you have to understand how to pre-process our data. For example, do you understand the central limit theorem? This theorem is really very important because this will tell you at least how your data looks like. Where is the 98% of your data lie? Where is the 95%? So these are just some of the considerations that you have to learn. And also another one, how much do you know about data cleaning? So data cleaning is really very important because all the proceeding steps would really depend on the data that is already clean. So when your data is not clean, all the rest would be nothing. So first, you master data cleaning. You master how to pre-process the data. As what I've said, we have the central limit theorem as an example. Then you have to understand the outliers. How are we going to deal with outliers? Are we going to reject them? And if we reject them, are we going to delete them in our database, or are we going to save them for another study? So these are just some of the basic considerations that, again, we are going to learn as an aspiring data scientist. Okay, now let's go to our fourth one. Our fourth one is not that very technical because it talks about our resources. And when I say resources, the question is, do you have available learning resources? And what are these resources? Are they comprehensive in scope? Is it deep in understanding? Is it more advanced or obsolete? Your answers to these questions are really very important, especially when you are moving to the next step of your data science journey. So I suggest don't just depend on one resource, but you have to have an amalgamation of many resources. So these days are actually very much privileged because we do have a lot of free learning online. It could be videos, it could be blog posts, it could be data science research papers. So we don't have any alibis to use to say that we don't have enough resources. Everything is at the tip of our finger. And all you need is just your diligence to read them, study them, to collate them. The fifth thing that we're going to consider is that we need to learn by doing. So I'm going to share with you my technique for me to learn a certain algorithm. I don't actually go to the next algorithm without first having a project for a certain algorithm. So for example, before I go into logistic regression, I always see to it that I have this project implemented for linear regression. And for me to have a certain project for this kind of algorithm really makes me to have a deeper understanding of the concepts and even of the code itself used for my study. So don't be afraid. If you're done with a certain algorithm, implement it right away. Make a project. And making a project entails, again, we have to go back to our structured thinking. And I have a series for that, which is Data Science Project, and that will really help you on how to make your data science project. Do you want to know more about this channel? Just click the card on your right screen. You can enjoy our deep learning mathematics, mastering machine learning algorithm, natural language processing, deep learning and machine learning algorithms, and a lot more. And here you can always learn and upskill for free.